Welcome to Vibrational Revelations, Dictators Special. My name is Elena.
My name is Alejandro.
And thank you so much for joining Vibrational Revelations on YouTube. We truly appreciate you.
Thank you.
So please make sure that you subscribe, you like, you share. We want to hear your feedback. Now, we're going to share with you, of course, 6 different dictators. We have much more to share. And actually, most of them have already been shared in our Vibrational Revelations membership community. So we picked 6 and we're putting them here out for you as case studies on YouTube. Now, make sure that if you have any questions or you want to understand the scale of consciousness, you download the explanation and the link is below, and that will be emailed to you as a PDF file. And then if you want to understand the different breakdown of the frequency analysis, just know that the video is also available with the link below. So to see the full episode, please make sure that you join Vibrational Revelations membership community. This is where Alejandro and I meet with our community members from around the world every single week. And it's a fascinating place for us to have insightful discussions looking at the nature of our reality. So we thank you so much. Let's begin. We're revealing again 6 dictators. The first one on the list is Vladimir Ilyich Ulyanov, also known as Lenin. Let me give you a brief history on who he was. He was born on April 10th, 1870, better known, of course, as Lenin, L-E-N-I-N, was a Russian revolutionary politician and political theorist. He served as the first and founding head of government of Soviet Russia from 1917 to 1924, and the Soviet Union from 1922 to 1924. Under his administration, Russia and later the Soviet Union became one-party socialist state government by the Soviet Communist Party. Ideologically a Marxist, he developed his own subset of Marxist called Leninism. Did we ever reveal Karl Marx?
Marxism.
Marxism. Did we? I think we did in our community.
We did.
Oh yeah, definitely. We make sure you join to watch that. He was born to an upper middle class family in Simbirsk. Lenin embraced revolutionary socialist politics following his brother's execution in 1887. Expelled from Kazan Imperial University for participating in protests against the Russian Empire's Tsar's government, he devoted the following years to a law degree. He moved to St. Petersburg, Russia in 1893 and became a senior Marxist activist. So we're going to reveal to you over 30 different categories. So again, part 1 is frequencies, part 2 is percentages. Now, Vladimir Ilyich Lenin incarnated at the frequency of 55. He was born at the frequency of 55, and his overall frequency was 55. This is on a scale, again, of 0 to 1,000. 55 is the frequency of apathy. So he would be somebody we would classify as a shadow player. Health he viewed through the lens of 55. Finances, 50. Creativity, 55. Relationships, 55. Personal growth, 55. Philanthropy is 30, which is guilt. Intuition, 55. Now, under the levels of intelligence, his IQ was 250. So you'll see, right? He's a 55 player, but he has this IQ of 250. EQ, the emotional intelligence, 50. Again, apathy, completely disassociated. SQ has to do with social quotient. And in cases when a person has these higher numbers, it also has to do with the ability for the person to have this magnetic presence, right? And what draws crowds in. So in the case of Lenin, his SQ was 400, the frequency of reason. So he was able to command with his presence, large groups of people. AQ, adversity quotient, what happened when he was faced with difficult, challenging situations? And it was a frequency of 20 out of 1,000. 20 is the frequency of shame. Now, he enjoyed his role. Now we're going into percentages, 99%. So again, you'll see this very interesting pattern that shadow players tend to enjoy their roles, right? If they came here as shadow players. So 99% he had fun being in his shadow role. He was in his ego 99%. And out of that, 67% superior ego. In the now, 96%. So he was very much connected to himself. Integrity, 100%. So integrity has to do with how loyal and faithful the person is to his core values and beliefs. And then we started measuring integrity to self, to himself, was 100%, and integrity to others, 90%. Self-awareness, 99%. Clarity, 98%. Alignment with divine purpose, 100%. Again, very interesting, right? Because he came here to create contrast. Alignment with personal purpose, 71%. Compassion, 72%. Empathy, 66%. The next on the list, on the dictator special list, is Joseph Stalin. So Joseph Stalin was born Yosif Vissarionovich Jugashvili. He was a Georgian revolutionary and a Soviet political leader who governed the Soviet Union from 1922 until his death in 1953. He held power as a general secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union and chairman of the Council of Ministers of the Soviet Union. Of course, under his regime, millions and millions of people had died. So let's go into his frequencies. Joseph Stalin incarnated at the frequency of 55, apathy, born at the frequency of 55, and his overall frequency is 25, shame. He viewed health through the lens of 30. 30 is the frequency of guilt. Finances, 55. Creativity, 25. So he actually used, this is a frequency of shame. So he used frequency of shame in his creative endeavors, right? And usually those frequencies are all about destruction. Relationships, 25. Now, if you know anything about Joseph Stalin, he was responsible for murdering his wife's family, his friends, right? He sent them all to the camps. And this man was responsible for so many people dying. Personal growth, 25, shame. Philanthropy, 25. Intuition, 50. Apathy, disassociation. Now, under the levels of intelligence, IQ, 250. EQ, emotional intelligence, 20. Shame, so completely disconnected. SQ, 50. I have my numbers there, so sorry I didn't bring them in front of you. So 50, again, it's fascinating, right? Where Lenin had the 400 SQ, he was able to command with his presence large groups of people. Stalin was the complete opposite. He was disconnected. And AQ, 20, when he was faced with challenging, adverse situations, again, shame kicked in. And I know based on the history, I've watched lots of shows on it. You guys, of course, can look it up. He was also severely abused by his father. Now, so of course, he came as a shadow player. He enjoyed his role 100%, right? Ego 100%, 100% in his superior ego. In the now, 100%. Integrity, 100%. Integrity to self, 100%. Integrity to others, are you ready for that? 9%, 9%. There was no integrity to others, or not much. Self-awareness, 100%. Clarity, 100%. So he was very clear about what he was here to do and to be. alignment with divine purpose 100%, and alignment with personal purpose 100%. Again, this is a classic example of a shadow player. Compassion, his compassion was at 13%, 1-3, and his empathy 67%. Wow. Next one on the list is Saddam Hussein. Saddam Hussein was an Iraqi politician who served as the 5th president of Iraq from July 16th, 1979 until April 9th, 2003, a leading member of the Revolutionary Arab Socialist Ba'ath Party and later the Baghdad-based Ba'ath Party and its regional organization, the Iraqi Ba'ath Party, which espoused Baathism, a mix of Arab nationalism and Arab socialism. Saddam played a key role in 1968 coup, later referred to as July 17th revolution, and brought the party to power in Iraq. So Saddam Hussein incarnated at the frequency of 250. This is interesting, right? He didn't come in as a shadow player. Born at the frequency of fear, 100, and his overall frequency was 55. So he actually didn't come as a shadow player and embodied the shadow role. Health, he viewed through the lens of 200, courage, finances, 55, apathy, creativity, 50, relationships, 55, personal growth, 125, unfulfilled desire. Philanthropy, the way he shared, came from a lens of shame, 25, intuition, 100, fear. IQ, which is intellect, 250, neutrality, EQ, 50. Again, he was ruled by his mind, but disconnected from emotions. Social quotient, 250, SQ, and AQ, 50, also disconnected. He enjoyed his role, 42%. So you could see, right, that enjoyment dropped drastically because he didn't come here as a shadow player. In the ego, 98%. And out of that, 55% inferior ego. In the now, 34%. Integrity, 100%. His integrity to himself was 100%. Integrity to others, 90%. Self-awareness, 57%. Clarity, 62%. Alignment with divine purpose for Saddam Hussein, 39%. So he was completely out of alignment, again, because he didn't come here to play a shadow role. Alignment with personal purpose, 28%. Compassion, 45%. Empathy, 73%. So that's all on my end.
You say that out of alignment because he didn't learn the lessons that he can.
Well, he also didn't come to be here as a shadow, and he started living out in the shadow. So therefore, he's out of alignment.
Exactly. That's why he was vibrating way below his incarnation frequency. Next is Augusto Pinochet from Chile. Augusto José Ramón Pinochet Ugarte. Was a Chilean dictator and general who ruled Chile from 1973 to 1990. First as the leader of the military junta of Chile from 1973 to 1981, being self-declared president of the republic by the junta in 1974 and becoming the de facto dictator of Chile. And from 1981 to 1990 as the de jure president after a new constitution, which confirmed him in the office, was approved by a referendum in 1980. Augusto Pinochet rose through the ranks of the Chilean army to become General Chief of Staff in early 1972, before being appointed its Commander-in-Chief on August 23rd, 1973 by President Salvador Allende. And it was on September 11th, 1973, that Pinochet seized power in Chile in a coup with the support of the US that toppled Allende's democratically elected Unidad Popular government and ended civilian rule. Augusto Pinochet, he incarnated at the frequency of 20, was born at the frequency of 20, and his overall frequency was 20. Maybe it still is. He viewed health through the lens of shame at 20, finances 20, creativity 20, relationships 10. Is shame approaching destruction? Personal growth 1, that is destruction. Philanthropy 1, intuition 20. Within the aspect of intelligence, we have IQ at 200, level of courage, EQ 20, level of shame, SQ 250, level of neutrality, and AQ 20. Indy joy, how much he enjoyed his role as Augusto Pinochet, it was 100%. He was enjoying it to the fullest. Indy ego, 100%. And 100% of that was the superior version of the ego. In the now, 100%. Integrity, 100%. So he was fully loyal to his truth, to his core values and beliefs. And integrity to self, 100%. Integrity to others, as the moment of truth, is 9%.
Oh, like
so
Stalin,
very similar
I think,
to
right?
Stalin, exactly the same number,
Stalin.
I believe. Yeah. Self-awareness, 100%. Clarity, 100%. Alignment with divine purpose, 100%. Alignment with personal purpose, 83%. Compassion, 19%, 19. So having 100% in the ego and 100% of that in the superior version of the ego with 19% under compassion, more than likely he was a narcissist, right? Empathy, 25%.
Wow. Okay.
Next is Adolf Hitler. Adolf Hitler was an Austrian-born German politician who was the dictator of Germany from 1933 until his death in 1945. He rose to power as the leader of the Nazi Party, becoming the chancellor in 1933 and then assuming the title of Führer. Is that how you pronounce it?
Führer.
Führer, yes. That's
Yeah.
what I had a feeling I wasn't saying it properly, correctly.
In
1934. Adolf Hitler, incarnated at the frequency of 20, was born at the frequency of 20, and his overall frequency was 20 as well, the level of shame. So very consistent. Viewed health through the lens of desire, unfulfilled desire at 125. Finances, 20. Creativity, 10. Relationships, 1. That's destruction. Personal growth, 75. Viewed through the lens of grief. Philanthropy, giving and sharing at 1. Also destruction. Intuition, 21, level of shame. Within the aspect of intelligence, we have IQ at 310, willingness. EQ, 20, that is the level of shame. SQ, 500.
This is fascinating.
He was able to draw masses.
Yeah, we did Tindler Swindler, for those of you that had watched, right, with a frequency of 125. He also had this 125 SQ, right? So this magnetic persona where people were just drawn to him.
He had a 500, you mean?
500 under SQ,
Yes.
right? So with Hitler, you could see all the, I mean, he was able to, masses of people were just
Being
falling.
pulled by his,
magnetism, right?
by the way he
Charismatic.
performed his role, right?
Mm-hmm.
Under AQ, we have 20,
Mm-hmm.
also similar to a few others, right, that we have mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Augusto Pinochet being the last one, also with the AQ at 20. Yes, and then in the joy, how much he enrolled how much he enjoyed the role that he played in this reality as Adolf Hitler was 92%. In the ego, 100%. And 100% of that was the superior version of the ego. In the now, 94%. Integrity, 100%. Integrity to self, 100%. And integrity to others, 100%.
He kept his word. Whatever he promised to do, he delivered.
He broke it here and there, but he believed that it was the right thing to do, apparently, because it didn't impact his number.
Mm-hmm.
Self-awareness, 100%. Clarity, 100%. Alignment with divine purpose, 100%. Alignment with personal purpose, 100% as well. So he played his divine role and his personal role, was fulfilled. Both were fulfilled. Compassion, 3%.
Wow.
So that one of the lowest numbers under compassion that we have ever read. And with the 100% under the superior ego, and vibrating at 20, the level of shame, and having relationships at 1 and philanthropy at 1, with compassion at 3%, that describes him exactly how everyone that knows about the history that he has
inflicted so much pain.
Yes, he inflicted so much pain and suffering, right? So the numbers are telling the whole story here. Empathy, 10%.
Yeah. Wow.
Unbelievable. Next is Bashar al-Assad.
Bashar al-Assad.
Bashar? Okay. Yeah, your A was there.
I know.
Bashar al-Assad. He's from Syria, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Bashar.
Still here.
Bashar Hafez al-Assad.
Hafiz.
Well, that's how I say it. Hafez.
Hafez. Okay.
Born in September 11, 1965. Wow. Is a Syrian politician who is the 19th president of Syria since July 17th, 2000. In addition, he's the commander-in-chief of the Syrian Armed Forces and the Secretary General of the Central Command of the Arab Socialist Ba'ath Party. His father, Hafiz al-Assad, was the president of Syria before him, serving from 1971 to 2000.
Let's see the numbers.
Bashar al-Assad, incarnated at the frequency of 55, level of apathy. That also represents manipulation more often, or very often. Birth, he was born at the frequency of 55, and his overall frequency is 55, level of apathy. So he's very consistent as well. He views health through the lens of apathy at 55. Finances, 250, level of neutrality. That means he's comfortable with the aspect of finances. Creativity, 20, level of shame. Relationships, 10, is shame but approaching destruction, right?
20 and below is destruction.
I will say, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Personal growth, 50. Philanthropy, 10. Intuition, 50. Mm-hmm. And within the aspect of intelligence, we have IQ at 250, EQ, 20, SQ, 50, and AQ, the adversity quotient, 20. In the joy, 87%. In the ego, 100%. And 100% of that was the superior version of the ego. In the now, 83%. Integrity, 100%. Integrity to self, 100%. And integrity to others, 29%.
Mm-hmm.
Clarity, 100%. Self-awareness, 97%. Alignment with divine purpose, 100%. Alignment with personal purpose, 76%. 76%. I don't know what happened there. Other languages wanted to take over. Compassion, 53%. And empathy, 50%. Mm-hmm.
And that concludes today's episode on Dictators. To see the full episode, please make sure that you join Vibrational Revelations membership community. We thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Yes, thank you. Enjoy your day.